All right. Great. All right. Thanks, everyone. We were calling to order a little bit late today, but that's okay. We got everything up and running, and I appreciate everybody's patience. Craig, as you were waiting for us. So first agenda, did everybody get a chance to take a look at the meeting notes from last time? Any updates or comments? I thought you did really a great job of capturing all the discussion items that were going on. I don't have any changes. Does anybody have any changes or updates to the minutes?
No.
Okay. All right, good. Then I will say they are approved. Real quick on the enterprise, because I know most of I want to talk about website stuff, but on the enterprise software, we did have the demo with Springbrook, and I thought it looked pretty good, although their new user interface is much better than their current user interface. I was not impressed at all with that. And we got their pricing, but there's one last piece that we have a demo on later this month, the 17th, I think. 10th. With one of the connections. So what I'm thinking that we should do, and Bob, also you got some pricing here from Tracer, is to schedule a time soon after the 10th to really go through and look at all the proposals, do pros and cons. I will take the what we did for the contractor, the little form that we did as far as ranking, and kind of do my little updates and get it to you and Trisha, so that you can, and the rest of the team, so you can make the updates. I meant to get it today and it just went the day long. So that we've got some sort of scoring mechanism that we can talk legitimately about each of these and decide where we want to go and move forward.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Is there anyone that, do you need us on the 10th?
Well, no, the 10th is another demo. If you can, you don't need to join. Anybody who can, is more than welcome to. But
If you want to just sit there and be bored, which is pretty much what
I just want to be supportive.
Oh, you were very supportive. Thank you for offering. We appreciate that.
the one thing that I do want to say, if I'm looking at this just from a purely dollars and cents standpoint, I would lean one way. And I keep telling myself I can't necessarily do that because it may not be the best.
That is yes.
Solution. The other thing that I did today is I reached out to somebody who I thought still used Edmunds.
Yes.
And they do. So, and they got a fairly good
I saw that
response. I know the manager that he referred to in Scott Township, so I'm going to reach out to her in terms of why they made the move to Freedom.
right.
And I purposely talked to Tracer because as I looked through the Edmunds proposal, I realized I needed to get a sense of what the cost would be if we didn't utilize
Yes.
all of Edmunds products and we went another way. Because I think, I'll readily admit, I'm very comfortable with Tracer. I think that it's a good product. But I also think that they can offer some things that we want that I haven't seen from the other vendors yet.
Well, right, because they're they're very, them,
Yeah.
and RJ knows them very well, and that is their business, is this
Yeah.
piece versus trying to do everything.
Yes.
Um,
Now, and I did speak to one of their programmers today
okay,
as well. And he was going to look into Springbrook to look at their formatting for their product to see if they would be able to integrate without any issue.
okay,
He
good.
said most times that they can, they've not really found many products that they can't integrate with.
Right,
So like for them, it's a simple matter of programming a nightly push of data
Okay,
into the accounting
okay,
software. And so that's what they're going to be doing for us, is just double checking that.
okay, great. Good. Well, what I think we should overall narrow it down to my thought is narrow it down to the top two. And we need to then really look into the integrations. What is it, make sure we know, I've got a good feel for what it's going to take to do migration.
Mhm.
And training for them, not just necessarily take what they've given us as gospel. I think we need to go through that and also ask for a lot of references
Yes.
so that we've got a chance to go through that is what I'm thinking of. To make sure, because I said, we went out with an ARPA, we've been gathering a ton of information, which is what you do when you've got a big thing like this. But then when you get to the top two, it's time to really dive in to both of them. That's my thoughts.
Agreed.
Any other comments or questions or thoughts?
No, I mean, I think what Bob sent an email earlier yesterday about you might be able to pull some out of the one and substitute tracer, and it may a little bit of gap between the ones that are out there now probably shrinks.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you threw out the most expensive one, so.
Yeah, that's.
It was that.
Yes. Yes, we did. Okay. Great. So if we could just try and get something, because I know December is busy with holidays and everything, but I'd like to, I think it'd be worthwhile doing a, half an hour working session, even an hour working session, just to kind of see where we are on these, just internally. And then put together the go forward plan. But I will put together that little checklist that we did when we did the consultant and try and make some tweaks for my thoughts.
Yeah.
And then get it off to everybody, and then you've got it. And then I would ask Joe and Craig to take a look at it too, see if you've got any things, the more information we can give these guys, the better.
The problem I think that we're having now, or I'm going to say I'm having personally, is that this is turning into a blur, one vendor versus another. It's sort of a blur to remember what was Freedom, what was Edmunds 1, Edmunds 2, or Edmunds 3 in their demos, or
Well, and that's why you've got all of us.
yes.
Who have listened to them, and if we've got questions and we've got specific things we can go back to, and having a sort of a scorecard and that's what we're talking about is, Kathy, is it's a scorecard, ranking and then weighting as to for the various items. Obviously cost is one, but functionality and some of the others, integration, ease of use, kind of things like that.
And can I? If I'm understanding this,
Absolutely.
You're no tracers, right? And then you've done Freedom and you've done Edmunds, right? So you're just doing enterprise left?
We've done Tracer, right, is for, that's primarily a lot of what RJ is, that her piece of it. The others, we've done Edmunds, we've done Springbrook, we've done Freedom. And we also did Tyler. Tyler was the most expensive, which is the one we've already thrown out, Tyler.
At the least.
You use Tyler?
And there's-
It's the same thing.
I'll tell you what,
It was the same thing.
That was the best.
I knew that wasn't a head shake over the price. That was a head shake over you.
That was the whole body of shake.
That was great if you have the money,
Yes.
but if you don't.
So, do you have any familiarity with either Freedom or Edmunds? Have you used them? Springbrook?
No, I can't say I do,
Okay.
but Tyler, I did.
I was gonna say that the difference is that Tyler has a very strong presence in the school market,
Yeah.
where Edmunds, Springbrook,
Financial.
they're more financial and they're more
And-
oriented towards
Municipal
municipal.
government
Yeah,
kind of thing. So, okay. Well, I thought I would just ask, just in case,
yeah, I think,
not to leave anything.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I've sat in on numerous of these, but from a financial perspective, I will go to these fellows. They probably have better background than I do.
Yeah. Okay. All right, great. All right, next big topic was the second big topic primarily for tonight. And I think there's two things on the website we want to accomplish. One is to obviously to look at what John has put together as far as the draft And I think we need for the internship, but I've also, before we get into that one, there's been a request come through from Ms. Zachary, as Bob, I know is you as well, that is there a way we can put together some sort of customer complaint tracking system? And is there something that we can do along those lines sooner rather than later, waiting for all the rest of this? Because the level of inquiries, comments, the rest of that is just coming in is increasing. It's a fair statement, Bob?
I think it's fair. We have certain situations where we're hearing more about certain situations than we are others in general.
Mm-hmm.
The complaint module within Civic Plus and the current website, to me is not,
Is there one?
yes.
Where?
But I think it's just a form.
Yeah, it's a form, but it's not friendly to the person putting the request in, and it's not friendly to the staff trying to sort it out. Plus, there's no opportunity for follow-up.
Okay.
So, and as I've thought about this, the issue, whether we're using some type of a complaint module or whether we are simply trying to do something sort of in an old-fashioned way, making one person responsible for then following up, is who that person's going to be, who's going to take that ball and run with it. So the simplest solution as I see it would be, rather than using the form, that we put some type of a link on, whether it's an email link or however we would do it, goes to one person. I assign that duty to that person to say, okay, this is the issue, get it out to the appropriate department, and that person has the authority to follow up and make sure that something is done. That would be the quick and dirty, efficient way, I think, to address it until we
read, because that's obviously always been key, one of
Right.
the key functionalities we want to have included in the website.
right. I mean, I know that because of the work that you folks have done, there are low-cost alternatives that we can go, but do we want to spend $500 or something when we know we're going to spend?
Whatever we're
That
gonna end up,
again.
yes.
So that would be a suggestion for,
It's okay.
and if you think that would, it's a step beyond where we're at.
It's better than where we are, because I did just take a look at that, and that stuff was all buried in there.
Are we looking at that as some of this new software?
Yeah,
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 Because, I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking they're very much like a work order. Like goes in,
yeah,
that's
they
essentially
log
what
it
it
in,
is.
3-day turnaround.
that's exactly,
Okay.
yeah, we'll either between the software or the web, yes, that's absolutely key on the list. of
And then you
functionality.
can log it and you can keep
Keep
track
track
of
of
it.
it,
You can-
yes.
Yeah, and that's a nice thing, is a lot of the products that we're looking at have that type of capability. So if we're not happy with what the website can generate, we have a secondary alternative.
Right,
An alternative.
We-
And
with
it would go to the appropriate person.
Yes,
yes, oh, yes, to automate all of this, there's so much that we
you're-
can automate.
You're coming up with for right now situation.
yes.
Okay.
I mean, you
It's a
could,
6-month solution.
you could use like Microsoft Forms
That's what,
out of your subscription.
Yeah.
You just build a form. I mean, And you would have some tracking because it's kind of tied to SharePoint anyhow,
Okay,
but it doesn't really cost anything because you're already paying for it.
See, but that's because I'm wondering, do you have the staff who could, I know what your staff bandwidth is. Do you have the, the staff bandwidth to do what you had suggested?
well, regardless, we're gonna have to come up with a solution,
Right,
you know? I think well, no, I take it back because it's gonna be tight for anybody. I mean, in any case.
mm-hmm.
I just don't know another solution at this point.
Well, that's what I'm thinking is if we could, does PM, do they have any skills that we could lean upon to do some basic SharePoint, Microsoft, you know, something simple?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean,
I mean, there's prepackaged ones. I really, the only reason I was thinking of going that route was you kind of get IDs. So like if it goes to email, you have to kind of like count the emails and say, I got 10 emails this day.
Yeah.
But at least in forms, like it gets an ID, so you know this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Because there's no, the email way is the kind of easiest way, but there's also like no tracking other than heavily manual.
okay,
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, is what can we leverage with what we have, since we don't even have, we haven't done any Microsoft Forms. I don't think yet, have you, Bob?
no,
I don't think so.
They have standard ones though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's some, and I mean, it's pretty simple to set up. But I'm just looking at one that I did, and it does.
I think Michael is in our meeting, but it won't allow me to show all the participants.
Oh, okay.
Only Craig.
that's odd.
I
That's
am
very
here. I am here.
Oh, great.
I'm driving, so I'm going to mute again.
Okay, yeah, you stay on mute. We'll holler, but I think that's the better approach. Is something that we can, it's not gonna get all the way to what we need,
Yeah,
but it's something, A, there's no software cost. B, there's, you know, a little bit of setting up,
If you can do a Word document, you can build the form.
yes,
Oh.
so they can, they're not
I
hard.
mostly can do that.
Yeah, yeah. And that would be something that then you could put out on the, you know, the website. You know, it would be easy, and you could put it prominently instead of buried way down at the bottom of the contact us.
Okay,
You know, even like the news or whatever, you know, something along those lines.
yeah.
Craig, do you have any other suggestions?
No, I think Microsoft Forms is perfect for a short-term fix.
Okay,
That would be our suggestion on the approach.
okay. I'll follow up. Then we'll start to develop something and I'll work with John and PM to
Yeah,
figure out where we put it.
where it would be best to put it.
Yeah,
And the simpler, the better for right now,
yeah,
would be my thought. You know, we don't need to solve everything, but as you said, the forms would give you some tracking, some basic routing kind of stuff that you could do. And it wouldn't get lost in an inbox.
because I think one thing that we're going to have to do is that because of the nature of some of the complaints and the level of complaints that we get, in particular regarding state roads and
State
things,
roads.
that we have to be able to track those a little bit separately from other
Mhm.
situations, because then we have to deal with the state,
Right,
which is a challenge in and of itself.
right.
But, you know, I want to be able to split those out, and we
Sure.
should be able to do that.
Yeah, yeah. You definitely could do that.
Okay,
Okay. Good.
yes.
All right, then back on the website, the big topic for us was to take a look and make sure we've got the right job description for our interns. And I think what John has put together is good primarily from the communication side. It's not the technology side.
And that's where I read it. I was thinking like, this is a communications one.
This
isn't-
is just, and whether it's LaRoche or whoever, this is the LaRoche kind of person.
Yeah.
But it's not the technical person that we talked about that would really help with, doing some of the IT stuff around here. That, it's great the PM does, but that, we're getting to a point, it's time to put some new functionality out, just like this whole forms discussion.
And I had several questions that I
Mhm.
wrote down, if I may.
Absolutely.
Okay, one, who do they report to? It's not in there. How many hours are they working? It's not in there.
Yep.
Is there any pay for this intern? It's not in there. Those are gonna be questions that are gonna come up
Mhm.
right away. I also had down IT. And is this person gonna be able to do all this stuff with the website and then also be able to do IT stuff?
No. Not gonna, no, we're talking two separate.
Pretty much just putting Adobe, in my opinion, putting Adobe Creative Suite kind of changes. But I mean, I'm sure most of us know how to use it, but we're also not very good at it.
Right.
Because we're not illustrators, designers, that
Right.
kind of stuff.
Right.
It's different.
That's why it's communications person who's got that visualization and stuff. So, so Bob, I think as we do this, so for the interns, let's talk more details. Start with, since we have the framework of this one, is it gonna report, will it report to John? Does
The
he have the
intent-
bandwidth to do
The
this?
intent was the intern would report to John
Mm-hmm,
as it, like, if we're talking the communication. like,
yes, which is what this
That
is.
would report to John. If he was not available, then probably to Sandy.
Okay. All right. And we know approximately how many hours she,
What we're seeing in different internships is around 400 or so total for a semester. So, that works out to, I mean, if it was gonna be full-time, you'd be looking at 10 weeks of full-time, but, normally it pares down a little bit.
Which I think PTC, a lot of their programs would be kind of 10 weeks at 40 hours.
Yeah.
12 weeks.
Yeah.
That's how it should be written in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there any pay?
There is money budgeted for an intern. So we can,
do we need to pay for
we
a
don't, I
for a
don't know.
communications intern? At PTC, we do, right?
The technology one, you're gonna pay $15 to $20 an hour.
We're gonna pay for
somebody
the,
that knows
yeah,
more IT, that's pretty much where it is. I mean, could you maybe get somebody for less? Potentially, but you also,
You're gonna get somebody for less.
right. And if we've got a bucket of money, I'd rather spend the money on an IT person to really help us get some things done. The communications, I don't know.
I'm gonna say, I think it's gonna be even, only because communication is one of the biggest things for your transparency. And if this person's gonna be working on this site, and they're gonna be putting all this stuff on the website, and they're gonna be doing this, and they're gonna be doing that, probably end up taking the complaints. I think that person needs to be paid as well, because if they find out that this was being paid and they're
They're
not,
not.
and then
That's
the
fair
caliber
point,
of
fair
person that
point.
you're gonna get for free, just because it's an internship, isn't the caliber that you're gonna want.
Okay.
Well, been there, done that, just,
That's fair. How much money do we have in the budget?
I have to go back and look, but I think we had two positions generally budgeted, although one is more that we had in mind was going to be more finance for assisting during tax season.
Okay, so you were talking more
So we
tax.
have, but we've come to find out that we have a little bit of flexibility in the budget now that we didn't expect. So we can go back and revisit that. I mean, we're only looking at a relatively small number
Right.
from a budgetary standpoint. You
Mhm.
know.
Probably 19.5 to 24.
Yeah.
I mean, if even then, that would be 3.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought I saw, yeah, like it was.
I can't
over
remember
20.
the
I thought I saw
numbers.
over 20.
I thought it was 20. So it was
It's
in the ballpark.
20, 25, you know, somewhere in that kind of number.
I thought it was 15, but I could be
I'll
wrong.
tell you
I
what,
could very well be wrong.
I'll tell you what, there's as many numbers running around my head as there are software vendors right now, so. If that's the case, oh, yeah, we did have that, like, because we were also looking at the social worker potentially. But there's, for that amount of money,
So we do have
We
money
can-
to pay both of them,
I
because
think
neither one of these, I think, are, the PT, the PTC one might be something that over, you know, period, we kind of rotate through. But the communications one is probably not, that may be more one and done.
yeah. Oh,
just
that was the
because of-
intent in my
yeah.
mind, one and done on that.
Yeah,
You know, the IT, I think is, as we get into this, we see more and more, just like tonight,
yeah,
you know, dealing with these things. There are so many little things that happen anymore that,
even just setting up these forms.
Yeah.
You know, you get some request comes, you know, they can knock it out like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And it's just done,
right,
right kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
okay,
Probably generally the IT one will need less support than the communications one.
right,
Because you're gonna be able to give them things to do that fit, whereas communications, they're probably gonna have to ask a lot of questions of everybody, because they
Yeah.
can't just,
Walk into it.
respond to something that
Right,
maybe,
they're-
right.
in order to convey the information, they have to understand it, so.
Joe, do you have write-ups of what you've done, internships, PTC
Mhm.
internships? Would you be willing to share?
Mhm, mhm. And they work it pretty well, like you just set up a time and you go out there and they'll,
Do you have a job description?
yeah,
We could
I
put,
can, yeah.
if you, yes, that'd be
And-
great.
And that's how they typically have done it.
Yeah,
I think they go afternoon, usually they're like 12 to 5 is the technology ones.
mhm,
And they just give you an office or two and they go pull the kids out of class and bring them down and you interview them. And then even most of the time when I've done it, we do the whole thing in one swoop. Go through maybe 20 of them, get together, narrow it down to 4 or 5, and then pull them out a second time and then give the offers.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that'd be great. If you could share the,
Yep.
send everybody a couple of the job descriptions. Bob, who are you gonna want the IT person to report to?
it'll be one of the management team, probably would either be RJ, myself, or Tricia.
Some of the stuff we've got going might be RJ, might be a good fit.
Yeah.
With- She's got, you know, more of a technical, she gets involved in this stuff.
Mhm.
Okay,
you might want to talk to the PM too, because they may give you some help with that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was thinking that.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, I can shoot this back to John with just the couple things that we want, because that's who created this, is, you know, with the things that we, you know, that are missing to put together. I mean, this is what he's looking for in a communications intern. So the content wise, I don't have too much to add to it. Craig, do you have anything?
No, not for communications.
Okay. And then if on the IT side, Joe, you'll send that to us, we can take a peek at it. And I do think reporting to RJ would be a good thing. And then I think we're set on the rest of it. We're not doing anything do we need to do anything else tonight on those? No. Maybe in January, we'll work on the project plan. Present at the January 24th, okay. So January meeting will be, so our next meeting will be working more on this. Okay. Anything else then on the website? Bob,
No,
Kathy, anybody wants to add anything else? Okay. Any other business then? That we can think of at this point? I'm assuming we haven't heard anything on the cameras.
not a peep.
That's odd.
I know.
It's really odd. And I know NA hasn't hired anybody yet. My knowledge.
I think they were focusing on the business manager.
Yeah, they kind of need the business manager
Yeah.
first.
And I think they've hired somebody, I think.
Yes.
Did
Did they hire?
Right.
Okay. So those were the other projects, and phone systems we're pushing off till once we get everything else going. That'll be later in 22.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the only other thing is just a reminder is at the next meeting, we will be voting for a new chair. And if somebody else would like to take it, I will be willing to pass. But if not, I'm more, obviously we can continue. It's going to be a busy year. 22 is going to take some time with all that we're doing with the website and the enterprise software. So I'll just put that out there, just for folks. Since Mike, this will be your first time with a January meeting. So if you would like to take this seat in the middle here and have the camera staring at your face, you're more than willing. If not, I will continue. All right, that's all I have. Anybody else have anything? Or did we miss anything? All right, Mike?
Just if anybody else is having problems with the SharePoint, I have a couple of you guys, please let me know so I can contact Andy.
Yeah, I can't get in at all. So
Andy knows about you
I know.
and he knows about Michael Eric.
Okay. Okay. There must be some, I bet we might need to be deleted and re-added, maybe, potentially. Fine. So, okay. And do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do you get it out? In a second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Meeting is adjourned. Everyone, you have a wonderful holiday season.
You too.
We're gonna have a bunch, well, we will see for those who get together on the enterprise software, but we're getting busy again. For the next few months, we got a lot of work to do, guys. So I want to appreciate your help, and thanks in advance for your time, and hope everybody gets a chance to relax.
Okay.
All right, thanks all.
See ya.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.